Hello guys, and welcome to another David Simulata. My name is Serge, and in today's video I would like to talk a little bit about this Chrysler 300 project, some of the things that I have learned by actually doing it, and I feel that it's important to start somewhere, even though when sometimes something doesn't make sense, you just gotta start somewhere. The guy said I'm sanding without a mask, so I decided to get a mask. This is from Harbor Tools. They said I could actually remove the filter and wash it. Not sure if that's the case. But it seems like a pretty nice mask. This mask seems to fit pretty good. Nice and comfy. But it does look like something out of Mortal Kombat, doesn't it? It did came with earplugs. It's like they knew I was going to be sanding. Came with some kind of bag. And came with some masks in here. I don't know if you could wash these or not, but it's okay. I'm just going to stick them in this bag.
Keep the mask safe.
Yep, washable and reusable. I don't know whether or not that goes for the filters, but you know, it does say washable. Now, with that being said, let's just talk about a little bit about what I've learned, and I want to be honest with you guys. And I will tell you that I haven't done this kind of work all my life. It's just been kind of like a hobby. And when it comes to that, I was occasionally practicing the craft. Now, in the past, I did work for Mako Auto Body. And my job was being a taper. And occasionally I was called in to be a sander, basically helping to sand stuff. But I'll tell you what, guys, the way they used to do things down there, at least when I was down there, it was really, really bad quality type of sanding. The painting was good because we had a really good painter, but when it comes to sanding, it just wasn't that good. And anytime I wanted to really sand something to make it look nice, because I was like 18 years old and I'm 42 right now, I was told no, just kind of like basically just take sandpaper, just like move your hand around, and that's it. That's all it's gonna get. But I know when it comes to painting, if you're gonna be repainting a car, it's very important at the very least to get the clear coat off. You know, you want to get the clear coat off and be down to the base coat. You know, it is a standard practice to basically, when you send in a car panel when it's been painted, to get the shine off. So once it doesn't shine, you know, it's a pretty good indicator that it is safe to paint that panel, and it's going to be okay. But if you do not get the clear coat off, paint's going to peel. So when I had my car painted there, it started peeling. They said they sanded it, but I know how they sand it. At the time, I was no longer working there. So they just don't sand stuff. They just basically just paint over whatever. But anyways, with that being said, that was my introduction into this automotive type of paint and body type of industry. I think I worked there for like less than a year, and then I left to work for a steel company. But we're not going to get into that. And the reason I actually even started working there, because I liked auto body work and I liked painting, and I wanted to learn that type of stuff. But when working in that type of environment, I knew that all this dust and all of this paint wasn't healthy for my health, obviously. And I could already tell that, I mean, we weren't using like any masks or anything to sand. A lot of times cars was being painted outside the paint booth, you know, because they cannot fit them in. Therefore, I was always exposed to toxic smoke, stuff like that. And obviously, you know, that's when like people are smoking and welders are going off, and acetylene torches, all in the same kind of like space. There's all kinds of smoke being created, and on top of that you have all this dust and paint smells and stuff like that. So it's not good for your health, obviously. But with that being said, if we were using proper equipment, it wasn't going to be like as bad, right? So with that being said, guys, I still like this type of stuff, and I started working there so I could learn how to do it. But all of my life, I never had the opportunity like I have right now, where I actually have the property. I have like my little garage. I have the cars. I now have, paint supplies and whatnot. I'm able to start working on this stuff myself. But it has taken so long to do it. And this is why I pointed out, like, I started like when I was 18 and now I'm 42. Unfortunately, I wasn't born into wealth. Definitely did not have a silver spoon in my mouth. It may seem like, I have like all these cars, 34 cars to be exact at this point. It might seem like I come from money, but really, I did not. And actually, this is like not even a big deal. A lot of the cars that I got, and they're like $1,500 cars. What are you gonna get for $1,500? You're gonna get a lot of parts. You're still gonna need more parts and more stuff, more supplies to fix those cars and get them going. But with that being said, guys, I've been kind of like, for the longest time, I've been basically dreaming about that I could just buy a car, fix it, and flip it. If it needs body, I'll do body. If it needs paint, I'll do paint. If it needs automotive, like like mechanical work, I'll get that done, right? But all of my life, it just seems like I'm swimming upstream. It's very hard to really even get to that point. And then when you start thinking about these things that I wanted when I was like 18, if you do it just the wrong way, you're not even going to make any money in it. And with that being said, it's very hard to make money. Like, you really got to come into this industry, first of all, knowing what you're doing. You got to have all the right tools. You got to have the space. If you don't have the space or the tools, you're going to be renting a space. You're going to be buying the tools. You're going to be trying to buy these cars to do this work on. And if you buy the car for the wrong amount of money, it's not like a fix and flip. It's more like you just bought a car, volunteered your time to fix it, and then sold it, and you broke even. That can happen. And then that means you're not going to be able to pay for that shop. You're not going to be able to do none of that stuff. But with that being said, it's important to start somewhere. And for the longest time, I have hesitated as well. I had the opportunity to start doing this type of work 7 years ago when I bought this property. But with that opportunity, I just had the place. I did not have the tools. I did not have anything. As a matter of fact, I did not even have my YouTube channel up until, a little bit later on. And with the YouTube channel, that all kind of happened as a surprise, because I just started posting some videos on cars that I was working on for myself, so I could keep myself going, keep my vehicles going. And for the longest time, that's just what I've been doing. And then a couple of years ago, I started taking on work where a lot of my viewers started bringing me their vehicles, and I started working on the vehicles. But that wasn't meeting my goals and expectations financially or time-wise. It just seems like I was going backwards. And I think a lot of it is due to the fact that I did not have all the necessary tools. I did not have the necessary place. I needed to work outside. Like, I'm working like outside right now. And this is not going to get me anywhere quick, because it's still a lot of work, and you always have to set up and then put up, set up and put up. Like right now, even though I'm working outside, I'm working right outside of my garage, where I have, I could easily get in there and grab a tool that I need, or I have a tool cart that I could roll out with all the tools on it. And it's not that hard anymore. So now I just need to basically just start somewhere, and I did, which is this Chrysler 300 project. I had this vehicle already for a while. I bought this back, when did I buy this? Like 2016, I think, is when I bought it, and this Chrysler was 2005. So at the time, It seemed like not an old vehicle, but I think I paid like $1,400 or $1,500 for it, on top of it towing, and I didn't have the parts to fix it. I didn't have anything to really do anything with it. And on top of that, I was still doing home remodeling in my house, and that was taking a very long time. So like it was very, very challenging to try to get the bills paid, and then I didn't have nothing else left over. As a matter of fact, sometimes my electric bill went unpaid. I was like behind, or the water. It just seems like life is really kind of hard. Like everything, it's kind of like you're playing catch up all the time. So buying this property, I bought it for cash. I mean, that was all the money I had. So like when I bought it, I kind of thought, okay, finally, I'm not going to have any mortgage. But with that came the challenge of trying to fix the place up. And it's never ending. Like, it's just, there's still lots of things to be fixed. With years, things break down. You constantly have to put money into stuff. Your cars break down. You constantly have to put money into that. And you have to have an income stream to try to pay for all those things. So with that being said, like, it kept me distracted. Like, at first I was doing like expedite, right, where I was delivering freight all over the country, and that was the means of making money. Then I tried to do this thing locally, try to fix cars and whatnot, and that wasn't doing it for me. And then finally I started doing Lyft and Uber about 2.5 years ago, and finally I was like making some money. Like, I was putting a lot of miles on my cars, but at the same time I get these cars kind of cheap, so I'm able to really do that. So at least I'm able to kind of like get in there, make some money, and get out, right? But my challenge was, how can I get to the right place to where I have all of these cars? Like, well, I didn't have all of these cars, right? But over the last 2.5 years and a little bit before that, I started buying up cars, because my thing is, I'm thinking, okay, if I have enough cars, I'm able to kind of like, I don't have to worry about buying a next car, like from the investment of selling, fixing and selling that car. Because what if it doesn't make any money? At least I'll have another car that I could start fixing while the other one's selling. And then if it doesn't sell, I'll be able to fix another one and put that for sale and start working on the next one. And I don't know, maybe I'm going all about the wrong way, but just trying to get to the point where I could start doing that, I felt that that was the right move. Now, I wanted to start off with like 10 cars, but obviously when I say cars, a lot of it is vans. So I have like 10 Mercedes Sprinter vans. Half of them are parts vans. The other half, could be fixed and flipped. And then I started buying up cars, obviously. And, and here I am. So I was kind of thinking, okay, well, when I work for Uber and Lyft, each week I'm able to make $1,500 to $2,300 per week. $2,300, that is like if I put like 80 hours in, so it's not like 40-hour week and then boom, I'm making all that money. Like 1,500, that's about like 5 days of work. But 1,500 and 2,300, that's both gross pay. So I would have to take fuel out of it, and I noticed the fuel expense could be anywhere from $70 to $90 a day. So you figure, like seven days a week, that's easily $700 spent on fuel plus food. You have to look at it that way. But nobody really thinks about maintenance until it really, hits you, especially like breakdowns, right? Like, maintenance is maintenance. You need tires, you need oil changes and stuff like that. Like, it goes without saying. But then your vehicle is also getting appreciated. But the upside on it is you get to write off all of the miles. Therefore, like, you pay little to no taxes, especially if you got like, a family of 5 like I have. So now I'm finally at that point where I thought I have all the tools, and then in the last week I've spent $1,300 getting more tools, more things, and I thought I had everything, but then you start doing it, I'm like, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that, like, and I need this. And it's not that all of this money goes towards this project. Very little of it goes towards this project, but it's setting yourself up for the next one. But anyways, with this being said, guys, my learning experience, I could tell starting with this Chrysler 300, it's improving. I'm able to develop better ways of working on these cars, especially like when it comes to getting a car prepped and ready for paint, because it I think I've spent total um, less than a week working on this car, but about 4 days went, just getting supplies and whatnot. Just days are being kind of like wasted for various reasons, either shopping for stuff or setting up or just like family, and days will be gone. So I can't like really do this every day. So I think all in all, probably like 5 days is what I actually spent on doing all the body work and priming this car. And this is not a lot of work. At least it doesn't seem like a lot of work, because the areas are kind of small. But I think it's important to have the right approach when you're actually doing this. And I didn't think I have the right approach to start with. I had the wrong primer, which was reacting with the other primer that I started using, the normal stuff. Also, that first primer was not sandable. It was kind of weird. It's just curling up. Even though I allowed it 1 day to dry, the next time I allowed it 3 days to dry when I was setting things up and just shopping for more tools and spending time with family. So I was like really, really surprised. So basically all the work I done the first day and the second day, on the fourth day, I had to redo all of that stuff over. Now, all of the work wasn't lost because some stuff I had to prepare and whatnot, like, and just do some Bondo and stuff. Like, okay, at least that was fine. But I had to send off all of the body filler that I put on it. I mean, the paint and primer that mixed. I had to, I laid a whole can on there. It was a good can. It was like, that's the only stuff that I had when it came to primer. And I wish I would have went to the store and I would have picked up some primer, but I didn't. And I did not feel like using my 2K primer because I didn't have the right paint setup. The only compressor that I have that was capable of doing this stuff is my 9-gallon compressor, or like 11-gallon compressor, which is like $1,000 at Harbor Tools right now. And I haven't started that thing for like 2.5 years. I don't even know if it works at this point. So I didn't really feel like messing with that. But I'm like, okay, well, let me use this paint and primer. It looks nice when you put it on. And that was about it. Just looks nice. So if I wasn't gonna like sand it, I would have been fine. Like maybe paint straight over it. But when it comes to sanding, that was a mistake because I had to do all that work over. That was kind of like a nightmare. So, today when I came, basically I realized that I'm kind of going about this whole thing the wrong way. So when applying primer to the areas where are areas that basically you need to fill in certain, like maybe scratches or maybe your previous body work like Bondo and stuff like that, I think it's important to just apply like many coats. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just like, let each coat dry, just keep applying coats. And then when you see like nothing else is showing through, you could allow it to dry really good, maybe even use a heat gun, and then just get in there and maybe like wet sand it or something, just to where like it's nice final finish. Instead, what I was doing, I would put on like 1 or 2 coats, and it seems like I'm sanding the whole thing off. Maybe I'm going too fast with the sander, maybe too much of a speed, or wrong type of grit paper, and it just like it would shave a lot of it off, and then I have like nothing to work with. Then I try to work that area and I'll go back with more primer. It just seems like I keep going back and forth and just working in one spot. So today I'm trying something new, and I have applied a lot of coats, including body filler. I just like wasted a whole can of primer filler. And actually that was my second can, so there's like literally like 2 cans, and a lot of it was sanded off, I guess. But hopefully that will allow me to get the finish that I'm looking for. And hopefully after today, my car is going to be finally ready for paint, guys. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the story that I told. Um, it's probably not an exciting story, but it's a story of, just taking time. It takes time to get to where you want sometimes. And a lot of times you're not even sure if that's where you want to be anymore, because years pass and you don't know whether or not this is the right thing for you, because you learn other things, other ways of making money. But with that being said, guys, to finalize this whole thing, why do I really want this so much is because, first of all, I'm working from home. I'm able to see my family every day. I'm able to see my kids growing up every single day. I'm able to go to sleep with them every day, So all of these things are kind of like important. They're not kind of, but they are very important to me. And just being able to work from home and be able to make some kind of income, it may or may not be enough. Hopefully it's going to be enough once I learn like what I'm doing. But at this point, I have not made any money. I've spent a lot of money getting to this point. All of the money that I've made from my jobs, I just hustled, just buying all these tools. And on top of that, having household expenses, including for kids and everything. It is a lot, obviously. It's challenging. And I understand to some of the fathers out there, somebody that's getting married, or has been married, then you already know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like an uphill battle. Every day you got expenses, and then if you got like hobbies and stuff that you're working on, a lot of times it's kind of hard to do your hobbies, because hobbies are not making money. And that's what I feel like, this stuff is a hobby, but I'm also feeling like I'm improving as I'm going along. So this is why I do want to do a good job, even though probably this project, probably, it's definitely going to look good, right? I'm going to be able to enjoy the car. I won't try to sell it for break-even price, but I think for the majority of the part, this is kind of like a break-even type of project. So because it's a break-even type of project, I'm making it to where it's still nice, to where it's something I'm going to enjoy, and I'll use it for a while, put some miles on it before I sell it, because it does have 102,000 miles, and in my book, that's very low miles. Maybe to somebody 100,000 is a lot, but to me that's fairly low miles. So I'll drive it some, and if I get the right dollar amount for it, then I'll sell it. But the way I will know what the right dollar amount is, I'm writing down all of the parts, the cost of this car, also the time that it's taking me to really work on this car, because there's been also a lot of body work done to it too. And that was another dilemma, is that when you buy a car and you do all that body work, right? Like I'm talking about like pulling a, quarter panel out and stuff, straightening that stuff out, like using body filler to just, make everything like nice and straight. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And then replacing some body panels and whatnot. And then you're still going to have other body work to do, like more Bondo, more primer, and then paint. And all of that stuff costs not only money, but time. And then when I calculate this thing, and I'm thinking like, okay, well, how many weeks has I spent on this car? If I combine all of the time that I've spent on this car, guys, it's probably been a month. And, I'm thinking, okay, well, I spent a month on it. Like, let's just say like a 40-hour-a-week schedule, just like 40 hours a week. This car, just the time alone, if I spent it at a normal job, I would have made more money. Like I'm talking about, like normal job for me would be just doing Lyft or Uber. Like if I was like just doing full time, let's just say 40 hours a week, I could have been easily making at least $1,300 to $1,500 like a week. Or I could do like 2,000 if I really hustled. Like just take like no days off, 12-hour shifts, combined with some bonuses and whatnot. Like you could really get up there. And I have done so. If you want, you could go to Ride VIP, the Rideshare channel. That is my channel where I have posted all my incomes, and you could clearly see how much money it's possible to make, and I explain what it took to really get there with each video. that I do. But anyways, guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.